Hi everybody, this is Alchemist 2, and once again I'm back with another movie review. Woo! It took me a while to see this film, and I can say it was well worth it, especially the drive to Indianapolis, because Indianapolis was the only cinema that was showing this particular movie. The film of which I speak is Hitchcock. And if you don't know me well, I am a huge fan of Alfred Hitchcock's films. One of my favorites of all time is, of course, Psycho. And a lot of people would probably agree with me that that was probably one of his best, other than, North by Northwest is another good one. Vertigo, Rearview Mirror. I mean, he was the person, the director who really made suspense a forefront in the movie business. I think. Well, this is just my viewpoint, but I have a lot of respect for Mr. Hitchcock, and he's one of my idols. Uh, this movie revealed quite a bit about his character for myself, and it was rather intriguing. And he was a genius in his own right, like many directors are. And apparently he had his own psychoses going on while he was preparing to film Psycho, because at first Paramount wanted to pitch his film. He had done North by Northwest for MGM, and of course it was a huge hit. It was a success, and his TV series Alfred Hitchcock Presents was also doing well. And he hadn't really come up with anything for quite some time, and he's starting to see his golden years. And of course, a lot of other critics were saying, well, we're going to see anything from Alfred or not, or has he just dried up and is he going to be forgotten? And he probably took that to heart. That was kind of a harsh thing to say. I mean, once you're old, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be put out to pasture. That's just mean. To think that way, to believe that our society feels that when you're old you're worthless, that's a bunch of malarkey, and I don't believe that. I think that, I mean, if you look into our history, a lot of people that were influential. I mean, look at Inouye. I mean, Inouye just recently passed, and he actually helped our country in quite a few ways. But I have a lot of respect for Mr. Inouye as well. But anyway, back to my original topic of Alfred Hitchcock. This movie was just spectacular, and I was as giddy as a schoolgirl in a candy shop. So this is my type of movie, and it reminded me quite a bit of me and Orson Welles, just because of the way it was done and presented, and it revealed quite a bit about Mr. Hitchcock's character and how much of a kind of a flirt he was. He was a voyeur. He was ornery, and he liked women, particularly pretty women and women who had figures. And he was a human being. He had human desires. Um, that I found all very fascinating, and also his take on human psychology was also very intriguing to me. If you're going into behavioral psychology, I would definitely take a look at this film, because it's just really, really fascinating, and it's fantastic, and it's phenomenally done. And I think that Anthony Hopkins should get an Oscar for this role. I think he was just tremendous. I just love Sir Anthony Hopkins. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. And Helen Mirren as Alma, she was just perfect, and she was just the catalyst for many things, and it actually proved that behind every great man there's an even greater woman. And their chemistry that they had was absolutely marvelous. It was romantic, and the end lines of the film they brought tears to my eyes, because it was just so sweet and heartfelt, and that he realized that she was the driving force behind this film made it all worthwhile. Because I didn't know this, but Psycho itself was not really supported by either Paramount or, well, MGM wouldn't do it, and Paramount was, yeah, they were leery. They didn't really know what to expect, and they had read the book and they thought, oh, this is morbid, this is just atrocious, this will never sell. And boy, were they wrong. And it proves quite a few things. He was determined, though. He was diligent. He was vigilant. He was persistent in what he did, and he forged on ahead. And he had that indomitable English bulldog characteristic about him, that this kind of the stick-to-itiveness that carried him through in order to finish what he started. And I won't say what happens because it'll give away a big chunk of the plot, and I just wouldn't want to do that for you Hitchcock fans out there. If you are a fan of Alfred Hitchcock and his work, see this movie because it will broaden your perspective on the man. And I even respect him more than I did before. He's still one of my idols. The movie's just absolutely tremendous. I give it 5 stars, 2 thumbs way up, and I adore it every minute, second, and nanosecond of it. And I thought that the score done by Danny, I can't even talk. It's so exciting. The score that was done by Danny Elfman was perfect for background to everything that was going on. It was just absolutely splendidly matched with the emotion and mood and everything that was happening. Also, there's quite a bit that goes on within the film with Alma and Wit, and I won't say anything about that because that's just a little bit of a glimpse there, but just be aware of that and the kind of the symbolism that happens there and the silhouette. They do the silhouette quite a bit in different scenes, and that was another iconic kind of trademark that Hitchcock had. And there was a guy from Indiana who was integral in helping with all this, and I can't remember what his name was, but my dad actually knew him, and he said he was a little bit of a geek. He was kind of a nerd. And like, yay, nerds unite! But it just made me happy that we had a contact with greatness, and that we can go down in history for that, because I think had this crew not stuck with us, had they not persevered with the making of this movie, it would never have seen daylight, so to speak. It truly is a remarkable film, and it's wonderful, and it's very entertaining, and just everything about it is really, really excellent. If you like, there's a little bit of the psychological thriller within it, and it's great. It is just absolutely incredible. It's probably the best film I've seen all year, other than Life of Pi and Cloud Atlas, and of course The Hobbit and Lincoln. Those, I think, my favorite films this year are as follows: Cloud Atlas. Yeah, I know, I just said that. Cloud Atlas, Life of Pi, The Hobbit, Lincoln, and Hitchcock. And I'd have to go, as far as animated films are concerned, I would say Brave. Brave is at the top, and then Rise of the Guardians. Let's see. Ice Age, Continental Drift is another one. I can't really say there have been that many animated films that have been out that have caught my interest. I really haven't had time to watch too many animated films. I have yet to see Children Who Chase Lost Voices, which I'll do a review of later over the holiday weekend. But this movie had a limited release because really not that many people who are... Well, you think there would be more fans of Hitchcock, but apparently I think the film studios knew that it wasn't going to do that well. It was just going to be kind of a cult thing. Well, I still think that Sir Anthony Hopkins should get an award for this, because this is the role that he was meant to play. I'm just going to state it as that, because I do believe that he portrayed this consummately, and he was just outstanding in his portrayal of Alfred. And of course, Helen as Alma was a perfect choice of. Sorry, my computer went to sleep. Anyway, Helen Mirren was a perfect perfect choice for as a foil for Anthony Hopkins, of course. Everybody else, Miss Smiles, her character, her actress was terrific. Uh, Vera, Vera's character, who portrayed her actress was excellent, and just the dynamic between the actresses and Alfred was very intriguing, I thought. So I think that every Hitchcock fan should see this. It's well worth your time. It's definitely worth it, and even if you have to go out of your way just to see it, do it, because I it's got my stamp of approval. It truly is an excellent film and well worth seeing.